Hi guys, this is just a really quick news update. Just got this article from the Jewish Insider, and this was published on the 26th of January. And just going to quickly read it. So it says, speaking up, Muslim in Newsweek. So this is Newsweek is where Jewish Insider have got the article from. It says, in Newsweek, Muslim women's rights activist Fahana Khorshed, Soraya Dean, Raheel Raza and Zainab Khan call on Muslim women to speak out against the sexual violence committed by Hamas on October 7th. They say, quote, Islam, the proclaimed religion of Hamas, does indeed prohibit such behavior, but Hamas clearly ignored this and embraced violence against women, children and civilians in general. Now they continue to lie about it. If we as Muslim women do not raise our voices against this, we are giving a green light to other extremist groups such as Boko Haram, ISIS and Hezbollah, who are already emboldened in their acts of terrorism and violence, to act like Hamas. We must not rest our voices until the world holds Hamas and other similar violent and oppressive groups accountable. She goes on, as we write this, 5 decades of progress on women's rights is at risk of simply fading away. We cannot fall into old patterns. We have spent years working to erase patterns like this. Patterns like not believing women, blaming the victim in order to justify rape, or remaining silent because the topic is uncomfortable. So there's more to that article, end quotes. There's more to that article on Newsweek, but I just wanted to mention this because one of the problems has been like a wall of silence from many parts of the global Muslim community on what Hamas did. And of course, it raises a suspicion about, how many people in the Muslim community actually support Hamas and, are sort of feeding off in a parasitic way of what happened on October the 7th when Hamas perpetrated that massacre on the state of Israel and its people. So that wall of silence appears to be breaking down a little bit, to the extent that some Muslim women, as we've just heard, are now saying, now imploring all Muslim women to stand up and speak out against what Hamas did. Hamas, as you may have heard, did some evil, heinous, disgusting things to Jewish men and women. I'm talking of a sexual nature. They did some absolutely horrific things, and so far there hasn't been an outcry about this in the media, in any part of the media. It's been reported in the Jewish media, of course it has, but your usual Me Too movement, the so-called Me Too movement of feminist activism against men, mainly in the music industry, in the entertainment industry in the 60s and 70s and later, who took advantage of women and exploited them sexually, often against their consent, sometimes using drugs. A feminist rights movement coalesced around those cases, and they were successful in getting prosecutions brought against the perpetrators. Some big names, you might remember Bill Cosby, Donald Trump is one, a more recent one, what was his name, Harvey Weinstein. There were many. So a lot of people have been asking the question, especially in the Jewish communities, where is this movement now, given the horrific things that happened to the Israeli women and some of the men as well, while held as hostage from after October the 7th, and those who were just set upon without being taken hostage. So where have they been? So this is a little breakthrough that Muslim women, it's reaching their consciences, not all of them by any stretch, but at least this group of women has gone public and said, we need to speak against it, otherwise we're going to go back to a time where this is commonplace, and perhaps not just against Jewish women at that point. So I feel like that's a little bit of a breakthrough, because the only way that we, people in the Jewish community, can win this horrible propaganda war and get more people to understand that Jewish people are human beings, number one, and number two, the things that are, the things that we wouldn't accept for in the Gentile community are things that we should not, we should not accept in the Jewish community either. So if it's not acceptable for men to exploit women sexually in the Gentile community, it's not allowed in the Jewish community either. But we kind of need people who are connected or have proximity to the perpetrators, i.e. the Muslims in the Muslim community, to acknowledge that and speak out. It can't be the case that everybody in the Muslim community supports Hamas. It just can't be, okay? And this now is proof. I linked another video. I posted another video earlier in the week about another news report showing that some Gazan Palestinians are now protesting in support of Israel and against Hamas, imploring them to end the war and release the hostages. And I wonder how long it will be before this breakthrough with the Muslim women regarding Hamas's sex crimes comes to be more of a protest movement. It's taking a long time, and I think a lot of people have struggled. I mean, there were lots of people that denied that there were sexual abuses committed by Hamas on October the 7th. People denied that in certain parts of the non-Jewish community. I think it's taken a long time for it to filter through and to realize that Jewish people are human beings too, and we need your support. Jewish people need the support of the wider community, regardless of whether people think, it's obvious that people have thought that the Jews deserved what happened to them on that day. And by the way, it wasn't just Jews that were targeted. It was anybody who was in Israel. And that included a couple of Muslim people, a Thai national, and other people that were not Jewish that were in Israel, either visiting or working. So regardless of whether people in the Muslim community felt that the state of Israel and the Jews deserved what happened to them, and they fed off that in a really evil way, in my own personal experience. Regardless of that, at some point we have to get back to being human beings, and some of them won't, obviously, but some of them have been human beings from the start and can identify with other human beings regardless of their ethnic or religious background, and that's a positive. And I just hope that we get more of this, Muslim women speaking out against Hamas and against the sex crime that they committed. So I just wanted to share that with you. Thank you very much for watching. If you like it, please give it a thumbs up. That really helps other people to see this video. And I'll see you in the next one. Bye.